I really loved my first time acting. It's always something that I've thought about doing and something that I've had like subtle urges to do, and being able to be a lead in my first ever time acting was just a great experience for me.
I portrayed Charlie, the really like uneasy and goth character. I enjoyed getting into like the black outfits and the makeup, and I think I did a really good job embodying that character.
In the sense of getting into character, before the film actually started, I had gone through some personal struggles and some things that happened through my life, and I found acting to be a really great medium to express these emotions, especially with the character.
This was my first time directing horror, and I would say that the main difference I had between this film and films that I've made previously was mastering suspense and kind of building up a sense of tension within the characters. Now, of course, this film isn't like a true-to-the-grain horror film. It borders on a little bit of drama, a little bit of suspense, a little bit of thriller. A key component of this film was all of the extra people I had working on it with fields that I've never had to use on a film set so much. Like, for example, Felicia Murphy and her fabulous job with makeup design.
Well, being the makeup artist on this film was actually very fun for me. I got to express my makeup skills. So using water-based face paint and oil-based face paint, I was able to create a white cast over Rachel's face. And using black, we were able to create the lines.
Behind the scenes, I actually did sketches and concept art for Felicia to do the makeup.
The test run of the makeup took about 3 hours, but eventually after about 7 times of doing the makeup, we were able to get it under an hour.
I sewed 2 of the big costume pieces on it, the rest of it I just kind of assembled. For example, I didn't make this fur coat, though I wish I could have. We had it in my house and I thought that it really gave this vibe of like, almost like a Cruella de Vil sort of villain, and it showed her glamorous side, her glamorous exterior, but as you strip down the layers, you can see that she gets more and more tattered. We see the 2 pieces that I've made, which are the bodice top and the skirt. So to make the bodice top, I used princess seams and I constructed my own patterns. It has a lace-up back, which I laced up with a shoelace. I hand sewed it, pattern made it. For the skirt, I created a waistband and then I wanted to just show scraps of fabric coming off of that waistband. Completely disconjointed, tattered. 4 scraps of fabric, red velvet, pleather, gray velvet, and then 2 kind of cotton fabrics, just attached to a string that you can tie around the waist.
A lot of work went into creating the shots, and while creating, we used a lot of POVs. For example, as in the scene was Ryan, we used POV when the demoness was reaching into him and wanted to touch him.
What the hell is happening? Who are you?
Don't be scared. I've directed a couple of films before. My biggest project since has been a short film called Lucidity, which was much more of like a drama, a trippier drama. And this film, Ternary, was very different because I had to bring up those aspects of the drama that I had before, which were scarier. The thriller element, the horror element, the uncertainty, and really bring those to the table on this project. Ryan's character first meets the demoness character to have the camera facing upwards, tilt on the demoness and the other evil spirits to make them look a little bit more threatening, and facing downward on Ryan to make him look a little bit more intimidated. And I think that was a choice that allowed it to be a little bit more scary, a little bit more threatening, and put the audience truly in the shoes of our protagonist, Ryan.
While creating a look for demoness, which was uplighting, it was really important for me personally to create some kind of horror as much as possible. While creating the film, we used a lot of red lighting, which is portrayed as an evil light. So when we had scenes with demoness or henchmen, we used a lot of red lighting in order to portray that they're bad characters and they have bad intentions.
So I normally start by just watching the scene through a couple times, taking notes to myself and about how do I make the scene sound more full. So the first thing that I really like to do is add textures and subtle drone sound effects. Instead of sounding empty, it sounds like it has life. The whole scenery has life to it. It's like almost breathing. You can feel it.
I did a lot of the actual music production, and then I would pass on the sounds to Spencer for him to mix it and really fill the scene out with all the different sounds and atmospheres.
What was interesting about the editing process was that I had to take something that I already edited the visuals for with like bare audio, send it to Jordan and Spencer to perfect and mix through Google Drive, and then come back and kind of throw everything together.
I like to split the scene up into little sections of each scene so that, like, okay, and create a checklist for me and be like, yes, this is what I have to do. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this for the scene. And it would take me a couple hours every day to just get through a part of a scene.
It was a lot of hard work to make, but it certainly paid off. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who was involved, everyone who helped to make it happen, everyone who made a cameo or allowed us to use their house as a location or the school as a location. Like, thank you guys so much for being involved and taking the time out of your busy schedules to help make this possible.